Once you understand this experiment, you will never look at reality the same way again. Because it shows something shocking. The universe behaves differently depending on whether information exists. Physicists take something tiny, like an electron, a photon, even a single atom, and fire it toward a barrier with two very thin slits. Behind that barrier is a screen that shows where each particle lands. You fire the particles one at a time. Slowly. So slowly that only one particle is ever in the machine at once. If particles were just little solid objects, you would expect two bright lines on the screen, one behind each slit. But that's not what happens. Even when you send the particles through one by one, the pattern on the screen is not two lines. It's an interference pattern, a pattern that only waves create. Somehow a single particle behaves like a wave and takes both paths at once. It doesn't choose. It doesn't commit to a slit. It exists as a cloud of possibilities, all at the same time. And here's how we know this isn't caused by particles bumping into each other. The interference pattern appears even when hours pass between each particle. There is nothing to collide with. And yet, the wave pattern builds up dot by dot. So physicists tried something else. They wanted to know which slit the particle actually went through. They added a tiny detector just to record its path. The detector doesn't push the particle or block it. It simply gathers information. And the moment that information exists, everything changes. The interference pattern disappears. The wave behavior collapses. And the particle behaves like a classical object, producing two clear lines on the screen. When the path is unknowable, the particle behaves like a wave. When the path is knowable, the particle behaves like a particle. Not because a human is watching, but because the universe now contains information about the path. Information changes the outcome. Reality does not settle into one version until something forces it to. No information means multiple possibilities. Information means one definite result. And here's why this matters. Your mind works in a similar way. When you don't know what something means, your brain holds multiple interpretations. It predicts. It guesses. It keeps options open, just like the wave in the experiment. But the moment your identity assigns meaning, the moment you interpret what happened, your internal reality collapses into one version of the story. Not because that version is true, but because your mind needs certainty. You don't react to life. You react to the interpretation your identity collapses onto it. Two people experience the same moment. One collapses it into fear. The other collapses it into opportunity. Same moment. Different internal observers. Different realities. Just like the double-slit experiment, your reality is shaped not only by what happens, but by the information available and the identity interpreting it. To change your reality, you change the collapse point. First, notice the story your mind jumps to. Then challenge the identity behind that story. And finally, rehearse the version of you want your brain to trust. New information creates a new prediction. A new prediction creates a new reality. In the next video, we're going deeper into how your brain chooses which version of reality to collapse into and why old identities keep creating the same outcomes. If you want to understand identity, perception, and why reality behaves the way it does, subscribe. You're about to see both the universe and yourself in a completely new way.